Butcher of Tehran is dead. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's death comes 1 month after he fired 170 drones, 30 cruise missiles, and 120 ballistic missiles at Israel. And although tensions are extremely high between Iran and Israel, the Jewish state has denied any involvement in the helicopter crash. According to Israel's Channel 13, Israeli officials issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "The message Israel is sending to the countries of the world is that Tel Aviv had nothing to do with the incident," end quote. The United States has also categorically denied any involvement in downing the Iranian president's helicopter. Yet that U.S. denial is unconvincing to Iran's former Foreign Minister Javad Zarif. On Iranian state TV, it is reported that Zarif is blaming the United States for sanctioning the sale of aviation equipment in Iran. And in more Middle Eastern news today, the International Criminal Court prosecutor Karim Khan announcing that he has requested arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, and Hamas military leader Mohammed Daif, and the terrorist group's Qatar-based political leader Ismail Haniyeh. The ICC is requesting these arrest warrants on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity, all in relation to the October 7th attack and the war in Gaza. The prosecutor issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "Today we once again underline that international law and the laws of armed conflict apply to all. No foot soldier, no commander, no civilian leader, no one can act with impunity. Nothing can justify willfully depriving human beings, including so many women and children, of the basic necessities required for life. Nothing can justify the taking of hostages or the targeting of civilians," end quote. Khan's request still is to be approved by the judges from the court, but today President Biden issued a statement that reads, quote, "The ICC prosecutor's application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders is outrageous. And let me be clear, whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no equivalence, none, between Israel and Hamas. We will always stand with Israel against threats to its security," end quote. The ICC is facing criticism not just from President Joe Biden, but also from Republican members of the House and Senate. According to Axios, multiple GOP sources claim there is a legislative response under consideration. The legislation could include a GOP bill to sanction ICC officials involved in the prosecution of U.S. citizens or allies like Israel. Minnesota Congressman and House Majority Whip Congressman Tom Emmer joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good to be with you, Greta.
Apparently the ICC thinks that the Hamas leaders like Sinwar and Haniyeh and Prime Minister Netanyahu are the same.
You know, it's outrageous to try to equate terrorists with a people that literally thousands were brutally raped, murdered, people taken hostage. It's outrageous that they would take this position. And I, for one, believe that it's time, even though we don't fund them, other allies are busy funding a terrorist-friendly international court. It's time for them to defund them and renounce the pro-terrorist court.
Of course, and the charges say, at least says to Israel, that they willfully was doing this. And I've been over that willfully, they are defending their right to exist.
Well, let's be very clear. We all want to protect innocence. We don't have any issue with that. But the Palestinians do not have a problem with the Jews. The Palestinians have a problem with Hamas. They have a problem with those who want to exterminate the state of Israel. Until we start to face that, that is your problem. And Israel has every right to defend itself.
But President Biden had a strong statement, against this arrest warrant. But at the same time, his State Department is essentially sending condolences to Raisi, to Iran, for Raisi's death. And he's the one who's been funding Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and his own efforts to destroy Israel.
Look, two things. First, to send condolences to the butcher of Tehran. Nobody wants to, in the words of somebody recently, nobody wants to dance on the grave. But the fact is, you would be better off just not saying anything under these circumstances. And then when it comes to Joe Biden, I wish that his actions would match his words. Because he says one thing, but he turns around and he denies Israel congressionally approved weapons that he decided that they can't have right now. He's going to delay it. His actions don't match his words, and it's clear that the Democrat Party of today in this country has become the pro-terrorist party.
You know, it's interesting that the former prime minister of Iran is blaming the United States because of our sanctions, because they couldn't get aviation parts, I guess, to fix the helicopter. I might say it's an American helicopter. I'm not quite sure how an American helicopter, I know it's an old one, how it ended up in Iran with, but whatever. But, I've never thought sanctions worked in a sense, but obviously the sanctions, at least he thinks they work, because he's now blaming the United States, because I suppose he thinks that, that there were some bad parts on this helicopter.
Well, let's just confirm, he is saying that it crashed. He is not saying the United States had direct involvement or that the Israelis had direct involvement. He's trying to claim that because they didn't fly it, it didn't stay up in the air. And by the way, I think the weather was pretty
The weather
awful.
was absolutely horrible. The weather is horrible. Wind, whiteout, it was just terrible.
I suppose it's the U.S. then that's to blame when that tragedy happened with Kobe Bryant, too. So it just doesn't make any sense.
So what do you think's going to happen?
In terms of...
with Iran? I mean, is anything going to change, or they just replace one with another and they move on? Or is this sort of a watershed moment?
Well, it could be. I don't know that we can jump ahead and say that it is. Clearly, there is a change that is going to take place in their leadership structure, and it will directly impact who the successor to Khomeini might be. And I think we have to see a little bit how this plays out. Keep in mind, they have a very young population in Iran, and they have been asking, and asking might be a soft word, they have been demanding more freedom and the right to express themselves, which has been met by a very brutal regime's orthodox approach. So I think...
I actually think this could be a moment because, as you note, the young population, plus the economy is bad, and this may be the moment, but we'll have to wait and see.
I hope it is.
Congressman, thank you very much for joining us, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Greta.